All right, so today we're going to be starting on a really old board that has a bunch of flux over it, and I'm not sure why anybody took this in, but since someone took it in, we're going to go over it. This is an 820-2523. Yes, you got that right, an 820-2523. And we're going to figure out why this thing is not working. So before we get into what's wrong with it and the problem with it, let's go into why I'm not particularly excited to be working on this board. If we go into the microscope camera over here, you'll see we've got a board that looks, you know, kind of nice. I mean, it's an older model, but it's nothing crazy, nothing crazy. But, ooh, what? What is all this? Hey, hey, hey. Ho, ho, ho. And then you got this. So there's flux everywhere. There's flux everywhere. Rage. Ah! I wish there was a way that I could hit a button and make him into an angry Pepe, but yeah. So we're gonna have to figure this out. So let's get Pepe over there, and let me just demonstrate what the problem is with this machine. So what it's doing is something very interesting, which is it works off of the charger, but it doesn't work off of a battery, but it sees the battery. So this is not a standard problem. I'm thinking that the only two people who are going to get this in the chat are either Chris Long, whose channel you really should check out, by the way, BNC Connection, or TCRS, Tim Herman. So let's go over that here. So we're going to plug this board in with the battery, and I'm going to show you what it does. And I forgot, this is the model that doesn't turn on by itself, so I got to find the... Don't make me plug in the keyboard. Oh, you're going to make me plug in the keyboard. The cruelty of it all. Your video really helped me. Thank you. Thank you to Swen. It's very nice of you. All right, so let's plug this all in. Gonna get the screen plugged in there. And the keyboard, just enough to turn this old pile of you-know-what on. Hey. Speed connect. So, plug in our battery. Nope, Chris Long, that's not it, but I know you're going to get it before everybody else does. I have faith in you. Nope, Miles, nope, let's see. Okay, time to give Tim the note here. So if we press the power button, it's dead, and I wish I could take the camera out, but I can't take it out anymore because of the cheap stand I got for the wall. Maybe if I move this keyboard, it'll be easier. So nothing. Now when I plug it into the charger, by charger I mean my beautiful little circuit specialist power supply here, it turns on. And when it turns on, you're going to see it's going to go... We're just going to cover this so you don't see the person's name or information. SMC communication, a battery probably low. TCRS, you're closer, but not quite it. All right. So, the battery is visible, as can be clearly seen. Or not so clearly until I zoom. So you can see it says 22%, right? But if I unplug the charger, it turns right off. Well, what's up with that? Now, the first thing that you may think is that perhaps the battery is dead. It doesn't have the voltage that it's supposed to. So we can always check that as well. So let's open up our schematic in our board view for the 820-2523 and see what's going on. Matt McManus says SMC. Nope, everybody here is incorrect today. Wow. So let me just find my 820-2523 stuff. I got to dig through a large pile of crap to find that schematic, since, you know, not like I work on this piece of cornhole every day. I'm not kidding. This board is actually called cornhole. So let me see if I can show you that on the screen. Let's go to here. Yeah, see? Look, not making this up. This board is called cornhole. Watch. Cornhole. So anyway, so let's go through this and figure out what is going on. So if we were to go over to the battery connector, you're going to see that there's going to be, let's see, here we go. I'm sorry, I'm disoriented. Pins 1, 2, and 3, we're going to see PPV, battery, voltage. PPV bat, G3 hot, always on, voltage. Bad diode on G3 hot. Well, you got to be specific because there's a lot of G3 hots. You'd be. All right, let's turn on the multimeter software. Paul Daniels actually made some really good stuff. I just haven't had time to download it. I was still trying to figure out why my audio was messed up before doing this. Tell me if it's clicking, by the way, those of you that I can trust. So as can be seen here, we're getting 11.3 volts. Chris Long and TCRS, I'm going to trust you to tell me if this is clicking. So we get 11.3 volts. So the battery is good. It's, it's not fully charged, but it's good enough. Now, what voltage is the first voltage that we need for the machine to turn on? Let's see. Who has an answer for me? What's the first voltage needed for this to turn on? Battery has a MOSFET to allow power in from PP bus G3 hot. All right, so let's just make sure, point taken, Chris. So let's take a look on the schematic, and let's see if we are getting PP bus G3 hot. So is the battery properly becoming PP bus G3 hot as it is supposed to? So over here you have PP bat G3 hot connection, PPV voltage, bat from battery, G3 hot always on, con coming from the connector. That's supposed to come in, go through this transistor Q7055, go through this current sensing resistor, and then go through this fuse to become PP bus, or as I prefer to call it, Pepe bus G3 hot. Now, if we were to look at Pepe bus G3 hot at any point on the board, let's see if that's going through and if that's opening. Why does everybody keep saying 120 volts? What's up, Chris? Yeah, PP3V42, correct. That's the first rail that's supposed to be present. So let's first see if Chris Long is correct, because the thing is, Chris Long is often correct, and he's always correct when it comes to the most miserable problem that it could possibly be. So here I'm going to really hope that Chris Long is wrong, but he usually isn't wrong. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to his channel, you should. He does board repair as well. He does a great job, and he has, I think, something like a daily stream going on where you may be able to learn something. So, all right, so where do we find you? Okay, Pepe bus G3 hot is up here. And as you can see, we're getting 11.3 volts in the Pepe bus G3 hot. Now, the first rail that you need in order for the machine to work is Pepe 3V42 underscore G3 hot. I'm kind of liking using this to switch my scenes around. Got this nice little wireless jelly comb keyboard. But it's cheaper than that Elgato thing. So next thing we got to do is see if we have Pepe 3V42 underscore G3 hot. So let's go for it. Now, where would we find Pepe 3V42 underscore G3 hot? Anti-communist funded $5. Kudos to you for being anti-communist. I know nothing about anything you talk about, but your videos have an ASMR quality to them for me. They lower blood pressure by 10 points on average. Good work. Well, you've lowered my blood pressure by 10 points by just letting me know that there's another anti-communist out there. So, we're going to search for Pepe 3V42 underscore G3 hot using Paul Daniels' wonderful open board view software. And it's going to be found right over here. go over here. Black probe to ground, which has a bunch of, I think, solder or something stuck on it. And red probe here. And we get 1.1 volts. Now that's interesting. So we're getting 1.1 volts. Now typically I would check for something like a short circuit to ground before investigating further, but I don't think I need to do that here. And the reason I don't think I need to do that here is because I know that that rail is not shorted to ground. The reason I know it's not shorted to ground is because if it was shorted to ground, I wouldn't be getting I wouldn't be able to get it to turn on. But the fact that I am able to get it to turn on from the charger means that that rail is not shorted to ground, because if it was shorted to ground when on the battery, it would also be shorted to ground when on the charger. It's clearly not shorted to ground when on the charger, because if it was, the machine wouldn't turn on. So we're just going to check. What's your opinions on vaping? I've never vaped before. I am turned off to the idea of it after seeing H3H3's parody video, just because, I mean, that's honestly the only exposure that I have to vaping was H3's parody video. So if we were to go over here and measure on this cap, as you can see, I get 3.4 volts when it is plugged in, which means that the likely issue is that PP3V42 is not getting power from the battery, but it is getting power from the charger. Now, PP3V42 is the first power rail that has to come on before anything else works. So that naturally has to have two inputs, because if the machine is plugged in and the battery is dead, you need PP3V42. If the machine is not plugged in and the battery is full, you need PP3V42. So that rail needs to be able to be powered from PP-bus G3 hot or the charger if PP-bus G3 hot is artificially low due to dead battery. Now, if we go and look over here, you'll see that we can have two sources for the PP3V42 chip. Now, you guys may be wondering, well, why isn't everything in the board powered by PP-bus G3 hot? Why do you need why does PP3V42 have to be powered off of the DCN, off of the charger or the battery? Why can't it just always be powered by PP-bus G3 hot? Because PP-bus G3 hot cannot be created without PP3V42 being present. Now, this may be a little bit confusing to you because the battery is PP3V42, but what if your battery is dead? What if your battery is dead and you need the computer to start producing PP-bus G3 hot without it? It's going to produce that from the DC in, from the 18 volts from the charger, but it also needs 3.42 volts to be present first. So if you look over here, the chip that creates PP3V42, we're just going to find that. The chip that creates PP-bus G3 hot, this circuit over here, let's just make that full, try and make this full screen for a moment. So, there. Where's my PDF cam? PDF is on. Display off. There we go. So this circuit is responsible for taking the charger, PPDC in, and turning it into, this chip is going to control this stuff, which is going to turn the charger into PP-bus G3 hot, which is the main system rail. However, this chip needs PP3V42 in order to work. As you can see, PP3V42 goes to pin 12. So if you don't have PP3V42, you cannot create PP-bus G3 hot. So if you are in one of those rare scenarios, thank you, Fat2 Ripped Gaming. If you're in one of those very rare scenarios where your battery is dead and you're plugging it in, your battery is dead and you're plugging it in, you're not going to get PP-bus G3 hot because you don't have PP3V42. So if the battery's dead, the only way to create PP-bus G3 hot is to have PP3V42 first, because the chip that creates PP-bus G3 hot needs PP3V42 to function. So that means that we need two inputs. So if we look at the chip that creates PP3V42, which is U6990 over here, you'll notice that it has two inputs. If the battery works, it'll take its power from the battery. If the battery's dead, it'll take its power from the DCN. So let me just zoom in since that may have not been visible. So this is the 3.42 volt power supply. This creates Pepe 3V42 underscore G3 hot. In order for that to be created, you need PP-bus G3 hot. But PP-bus G3 hot needs PP3V42. But PP3V42 needs PP-bus G3 hot. So do you understand how we're in this infinite loop here? If the battery is dead and you plug in the charger, you're never going to get anything. So what happens here is, since this is the first rail that needs to turn on, it can either be turned on by PP-bus G3 hot, or it can be turned on by the charger. It has two separate inputs. Now, how do you have two inputs to this chip on the same gate and have them tied together if they're totally different voltages? In this case, the battery is 11 volts and the charger is 18.5 volts. Well, you have a diode. The whole point of the diode is that you can have these two lines both going to input, but without going to each other. So you have 18.5 volts in the DC in, and if we did not have this diode here, if I were to plug the charger in, what would happen is that the 18 volts from the charger would go into the chip, and that would be good, but then it would go back to the battery, and that would be bad, because when you send 18.5 volts of direct DC current to an 11.5 volt battery, it goes pow, and your computer explodes. So what I'm going to do here is see if there is voltage missing on D6905. So my theory is that this part of the diode is working. See, this is two diodes in one. This part is working, which is allowing 18.5 volts to go through. But the part that allows Pepe Bus G3 hot to go through is not working, so that when it's only being powered off of the battery, which is Pepe Bus G3 hot, Pepe Bus G3 hot is going to be the battery here, it's not going to work. So let's take a look at where D6906 is on the motherboard and go from there. So if we switch over to our other view and we take a search for D6905, it is, of course, on the other side of the board, because why would you put the most important thing to measure first before anything else on the top of the board like any sensible manufacturer? But we're not dealing with a sensible manufacturer here. We are dealing with Apple, which means everything is going to be more annoying, more convoluted, more confusing, less standardized, and less sensical. So we're going to take the board out right now. We're just going to unplug that keyboard, that screen that we had in there, and get this out of the machine. And alrighty. Easy breezy, beautiful cover girl. Now, the diode is going to be this thing next to all the flux. So whoever messed with this, they were close, because you got flux over here and flux over there, but no flux on this. And I'm guessing there's something wrong with this. So let's get my meter, and we're going to measure the outputs and the inputs of this diode when the machine is plugged into a battery and when it's plugged into a charger. So first thing to do is take the DC in port out of the machine, since I forgot to do that when I started. Okay, we're plugged in. Now we're plugged in, and we're going to take a look on this diode. Right over here, we're going to measure the voltage on pin 1 of the diode and on pin 5 of the diode to see if it's coming out. The Pay 3V42 is coming from inside the house, says Matthew Richardson. Thank you for the $2. Cogliostro says 5 Dogecoins on R6905. By the way, we do have receiving wallet links on the description below. So instead of selling your coins for pennies in the dollar like everybody else is doing today, if you're going to do that, you might as well send them to me. I'll spend them better. Okay, so let's take a look at pin 1. I'm hunting a Pepe 3V42. Okay, it looks like we have 18 volts on input. I'm going to catch him on the other side now, though. Shh. Don't let him know I'm coming for him. I got you, Pepe 3V42. I got you. Good. Alright, it looks like we have 17 volts on the other side of the diode. So the diode is working for the charger. Now we gotta see if it's working with the battery. So we're gonna take the battery and we're gonna plug it in now. Yes. Yes. Okay. Shh. Let's see what we get on pin 1. 11.2. N.5. Aha! I caught you. You are stealing my electrons. Yes. Alright, so it appears this diode is stealing my electrons. So the top part of the diode, which takes voltage from the charger and sends it to the PP3V42 regulator, is working. The bottom part of the diode, which takes voltage from the battery and sends it to the PP3V42 regulator, is not working. So now, the difficult part is going to be finding this diode, because I have to find a board from my store that is from 2008 or 9 and replace this. So let's get to work. And you can see that they were so close. They were this close to figuring it out. There's flux everywhere. Even the capacitor under the diode has been replaced. It looks like somebody tried to replace the regulator because you can see that there's a shitty looking solder blob over there. Will you ever start doing glass-only repairs on iPhones? No, that sounds really miserable. That sounds really miserable and really not very fun, and also not very profitable. The thing, you have to spend a ridiculous amount of money to get set up to do that type of stuff, and then after you do that, you have to find someone who's willing to sit there and do this miserable, repetitive, awful, terrible, crappy labor all day. And you have to be able to do it 110% perfectly, because if there's even the tiniest, teeniest, weeniest little glitch in their iPhone screen, or like the slightest thing that's off, they're gonna go, "It doesn't look the way it did before." So, okay, now I gotta find a replacement diode here. Yeah, so it's not very fun. iPhone repair in general, honestly, kind of sucks. Data recovery, good. Fixing phone for somebody that's like, "You replaced my screen 2 years ago, and now when I open my camera app, it's slow." "You replaced my home button 4 months ago, and now my battery is dying." Because it's like, just go away. Stop. Data recovery is where it's at. I'll do basic screen replacements, but glass only, no. It's really not fun, too. That's the thing. It's like, how do you want to spend your day? I need it. Damn. I need a diode. I need a diode. Really? Okay, plan B. We're going to take a different diode. We're going to put a different diode there. Plan B. How about that? So let's take a look at how this fits on the board. And let's see if we can put a little bit of a modification over there. Yeah, we're gonna do a little bit of a modification here. So how about that? How about that? How does everybody in the chat feel about a modification that probably doesn't even fit? Yeah, that's what we're gonna do here. That's what we're gonna do here. It's not like this board's any pretty as it is anyway. So here we go. Here we go. Are you ready? To be honest, I would be annoyed if I paid for a bunch of money for a new screen and there was any kind of imperfection. Exactly. That's why I just don't want to... Again, it's one thing if you're dealing with regular... it's one thing if you're dealing with normal screen replacements where you don't have to see that for the most part, but it really sucks. Because, I mean, I understand why people are charging $100 to $200 for the glass-only kind of stuff, because it's miserable. It's a lot of hard work, but it doesn't always come out perfect. It comes out perfect to a lot of people, but not perfect to that 10% that are purposely looking for anything wrong with it, so that they will get a discount. Which make up a large amount of the customers in New York City. You know what is profitable? An Antminer A3. Lewis, do you want Hillary in jail? I don't want to die of Arkansas, so I will leave that opinion for another stream. I really don't want to get shot in the back of the head. I really don't want to die of two self-inflicted gunshot wounds to the back of the head. So I'll leave that to my... Let's go and... Damn, it's hard to fit this thing in there. Hashtag released a memo, says somebody. Indeed. Indeed. Okay. Did you get your Litecoin? No, I had 4 Litecoin stored on some drive, but I honestly can't. I don't even know where to find it. I have no idea which drive it was. If I find it, I don't know where on the drive it was, and... Yeah. Oh, we have we have spam. Bye-bye. Spam. Don't do a janky mod that looks cringeworthy. Yeah, well, don't send me stuff from 2009 that you tried to fix yourself and failed on. How about that? How about that? Okay, let's see. Does this fit? Let's get a vote from chat. Wow, this really does not look like it fits. Maybe. I think I can make this work. We're gonna get this to work. What I thought all you needed to do, glass only repair, was suction cup and a few screwdrivers. You must be reading CNET, and thank you for the $1. Okay. Let's see. We can totally make this work, bro. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, we're gonna do this. I don't even think I need to run jumpers for this. Okay, maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit of jumpers. I sent you 0.25 Litecoin. Oh! Why, thank you. I thought you meant the Litecoin that I had on a wallet a long time ago. No, yeah, I was mining Litecoin in 2014 and I gave up because I spent something like $300 on electricity and all I had to show for it was 4 Litecoin, which at the time was like $40. I got 0.1 Litecoin from somebody a few days ago. Thank you for that. And I haven't gotten it. I don't have my wallet on me. I keep that at home. But I do appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Those appreciated. Alright, so I have that wallet separate from my other wallet. You have 700 viewers. I have 700 viewers? Since when? Wow, that's more than usual. What's the pinout on that device? Wow! Dude, pinout. We don't need pinout. It's probably fine. This is probably totally professional. This is great. Let's see. Do we? Oh my god, 700 viewers on YouTube alone. Wow. 700 on YouTube and 47 on Twitch. Not bad. Thank you very much for everybody who's watching. That's really awesome. Why not 2 diodes? Because there's 2 diodes inside that one diode. Anyway. Let's see. Does that look... That looks good to me. We're just going to make sure that this does what it's supposed to. Do you want to do a webinar for amateurs such as myself? I really want to get back into electronics. I'm not sure. Well, thank you for the 20, by the way. I really appreciate that. I don't know what you mean by webinar exactly, because I get this request a lot to do an online class, and the online class are the videos. So I'm not really sure exactly what people are asking for when they say that. I mean, I have a series in basic. I'm honestly not the best in terms of teaching the exact, the coulombs and all that stuff on basic electronics. But I do have a basic electronics playlist that I tried to make from the perspective of, you know, where I was when I started. So maybe you, if you watch that, you'll get something out of it. Ah. Okay, let's check this. So this little point up here is supposed to go to there and this. Okay, so let's see if that's... Oh, let me turn on the meter so you can see that. 3K Litecoin 2019 Q1, thanks for your content. Hey, we'll see. Hopefully my investments go well. All right, time to see if it blows up. That diode is totally professional. All right, we're going to plug it in. You ready? Like the Glade commercial. Plug it in, plug it in. Hey, it's not exploding. Now we're going to turn it on. Hey, the fan is spinning, but it was already spinning when it was on the charger. Now we're going to see if it works from the battery. So let's get our battery and see, hopefully, if it doesn't blow up when we plug it in with the battery. This is the battery. Can you fix my Antminer D3? One of the hash boards is dead. Most likely no. Antminer hasn't sent me a damn thing, so they haven't sent me a schematic or a board view or any of that stuff. And it's one of those things where if it was something that I got 50 of on a regular basis and they made sense to fix, I probably would do the independent research and to reverse engineer all that stuff, but it's not worth it for something that I see, like, you know, I'm going to see once a year. Also, from what everybody's telling me, the Antminer that I showed on that stream that I was reviewing over with you is completely, the algorithm is useless. It's not going to make you any money now. Cancer Guy donates $5 and greetings. Why, thank you, Cancer Guy. That's very kind of you. I appreciate that. Now, as you can see, and probably hear here, that it is making noise. The fan is on, and it is able to run off of the battery now because PP3V42 is now going through because we have repealed and replaced the broken diode with a good one. And we have sent the other diode to jail. And this is what it looks like on the board. Beautiful. See, you can't even tell the difference. It's like the same thing. Professional. Professional. Oh, yeah. That is beautiful. Look at that diode. Look at that beautiful, beautiful diode on that nice, beautiful working board from 2009. YouTube gave me a notification for the first time that you went live, probably why you have so many viewers. Oh yeah, YouTube's been doing this thing to me for a while where I've been getting a lot of messages from people saying, I don't get notifications from you even though I click the bell. And that's one of those areas where you would think having a YouTube partner rep is useful, but they know as much about YouTube as anybody that reads the Google Help Center, really. They wouldn't have any idea why that is. I'm not really sure why my notifications weren't going out for a while. Because you'll notice that, sometimes there'll be 700 viewers, sometimes there'll be 3,000 viewers, sometimes there'll be 200 viewers. And it all comes down to whether YouTube's little thing decides to tell people I was streaming. Anyway, that is it. And as always, I hope you learned something. We fixed this board by taking by bringing back PP3V42. And the reason we didn't have any PP3V42 was this little diode that is allowing the two different input sources, which is the charger or the battery, to flow through to the voltage in pin of the chip was bad. So only the charger section was working, not the battery. That's why it wasn't working off the battery, but we're not troubleshooting battery detection. Remember, if just because it's not working off the battery but works off the charger doesn't mean you troubleshoot battery detection. If you see a high battery percentage, like 22 or 40%, and you have a high battery voltage, that means that communication between the battery and the system management controller is working. Now, sometimes you'll see the battery charging, but when you measure the battery, even at 99%, it'll say 1 or 2 volts. Then the battery's dead. But if you're getting 11.3 at 12 volts on a battery and it sees it, it shows that it's charging, its voltage is going up, but it just doesn't work off of it, think about the rail that needs to be present in order for the machine to work. Think about the one rail that has a separate power line between the charger and the battery, which is Pepe 3V42. So that's it. I'm going to move on to the next machine. Also, to try and kind of keep this simple, rather than having a 3-hour stream, I'd like to separate the repairs into each having their own individual stream so that I can keep the streaming format, but have the issues be separated. So I'm going to cut this one off, and yeah. Pepe. I want to get a Doge one too. I want to get a Doge one too. Oh, hit stop.